Hello and welcome to the Needle Felted Sleepy Owl Kit tutorial. This is our cute little project. It's a little keychain. In your kit you have a variety of wools. You have the yellow golden wool for your nose. You have black, a small smidgen of black wool for the eyes. A white wool for some detailing, and some gray primitive wool, couple needles, your felting mat, and your core wool. We're going to start with the core wool so that we can make the shape base of the owl's body. We'll use all of this wool. What you'll need to do is to tightly roll your core wool sliver in a preliminary ball shape. Try to make it as tight as you can. This will speed up your needle felting process. A nice tight ball, and then you will start to stab. This process is going to take you a lot longer than anything else in this project. What you'll need to do is to stab all over, and every so often turn your area of your wool so that you stab other parts you haven't stabbed before. This will ensure that you get a nice round and not flat or square shape. Keep going and stab and turn, stab and turn until you come to a firm, round, smooth ball shape. I'm going to skip in this tutorial because this process does take a while. So go ahead and keep stabbing and come back to the video when you have a good round, smooth shape for your project. Next, you're going to take a third of your gray wool and you're going to make a mound and place that on the top of the head. You only want the gray to be half of, you only want it to cover half of your core body shape. So just place that little mound of gray and attach that all around. The bottom half of the body will still be the core color, and the top half of the body will be this gray woolly color. This is going to separate and give some color dimension for your sleepy owl. Go ahead and try to smooth that gray wool down. A nice tip for smoothing is to do shallow stabs in circular motions rather than shoving your needle all the way into the middle of your core. This will give you a nice smooth finish and attachment of your loose wool. Once you have all of this nice and attached, you're then going to grab your yellow, your golden. Take as much as you want. If you use all of it, you're going to have a nice big fat beak. I'm using half to get a nice mid-size beak, and you can use less to make a really small beak. It's really up to you. I place this right between the gray color and the core wool. So I want part of the beak to be on the core colored body and the other part of the beak to be on that gray that we just attached. And then I'm shaping the wool onto the body into a triangular shape to give me a nice beak shape on his little body. Keep doing this until you have a nice shape that is good for you. The more you stab, the smaller your little beak is going to get, and firmer too. Make sure you have a nice point on the bottom to act as that pointy edge beak. And keep going until you are happy with the shape and the size. You can do a little bit more smoothing around. You can squeeze and shape until you're happy with it. Once you're happy, you're going to grab 2 pieces of the white and you're going to roll it into your hand into a string-like shape. We're going to use these for the outline of the eyes. So we want to work with a nice little string or 2 string pieces. And again, I'm just rolling it in my hand. Those fibers are touching and intertangling, so it's almost pre-felting with my hands. I place one of the strings onto one side of the beak, and I'm going to just attach this in a circular shape onto the face. I'm not worrying too much about the placement yet. I just want to get the wool onto the face. Once it's all on, then I start to shape it onto the face. I want to keep the middle part of the eye open as much as I can to give it some eye dimension. And once you are satisfied with the shape, you can then just smooth it down a bit. And make sure you can have a little eyebrow. It's not important, but it does give it a little bit more personality. I do the same on the other side for the other eye. I keep looking back and forth because symmetry is a little hard to do. So I keep looking to see where my first circle eye is, and I try to line it up as best as I can on the second side. Again, just attach it. Once everything's attached, then you can go in and do more refining of the shape. Okay, now we've got our little round eyes. We're going to move on to our little sleepy eye slits. So we're going to grab our black and just split that in half. If it's too much, go ahead and take some out. You don't want it to be too thick, but you don't want it to be too thin either. If it's too thin, just get rid of some of the wool. And you're going to just twist it into your fingers into another string, just like you did with the white. You could just use your fingers. And you're going to just attach it right at the bottom edge of your inner eye, so that it's like a little closed eye slit. You're going to do this with both of your black threads. Just going to attach it right at the bottom, I guess, curve of the eye so that it looks like a closed eye slit. And now your little owl is sleepy. We're going to now use the rest of our gray wool, split what you have in half, grab your little sponge, mess up each pile of your gray. Make sure that they're even. If they're not, go ahead and try to even up the amounts that you have. And then you're going to use the heat of your hands and just roll it flat into your hand. It will give you kind of a preliminary flat shape. Again, make sure it's all messed up. Roll flat into your hand. You really want those fibers to touch. And then you're going to finish up the shape by placing your flat piece of fabric onto the sponge. I like to make a little teardrop shape and then bring the edges into the middle of that teardrop shape to make the wings. Try to keep your stabbing shallow. That way your wool will not get attached to your sponge. Try to make a little teardrop shape and then follow the edges into that teardrop shape. And then I have little teardrop wing shapes. And flip it over. Give it a couple of stabs just to make sure it's all adhered. If your shapes are a little off, go ahead and reshape each of them until they're pretty much symmetrical. So now I have two similar wings for each side of the owl. Grab your owl. We're going to attach each of the wings on either side. Make sure his little eyebrows aren't in the way. And attach. I just kind of follow the shape of the teardrop as I attach right along the edge. I do that first and then I refine it a little bit later once the wings are attached in that teardrop shape. So I have one wing. Apply the other ring the same way. Make sure those little eyebrows aren't in the way. I just follow the shape along the edge to attach the wing. Make sure that my wing is nice and teardrop shape. I also look at the other side just to make sure that it's symmetrical. And then I refine once the wing is attached onto the body. Okay, so my wings are attached, but I'm going to put a little detail on it. So the rest of the white, I'm just going to grab two more little slivers, roll it into my hands, make it a string just like I did for the eyes. Gives a little bit more color, a little bit more dimension. This can be optional, but I kind of like the way it looks. And I just use that string and attach it along the outer edge of the wing, following that teardrop shape. Now he has a little bit more color, a little bit more dimension. Once it's all attached, I do some defining and just making sure it's all in there, flatten it down a little bit. I do the same on the other wing. Place it right along the edge of the wing and just attach it. It's kind of like outlining the wing with the white. And just flatten it down, and now he's got his little wings. Now we're going to attach the wire so that it becomes a keychain. Again, this is an optional thing. You can just keep your little owl the way it is, or you can attach the wire. You're going to use your needle and bring that all the way through from the top of the head to the bottom. And you need to move the needle as much as you can to create a little whole canal. You might need pliers once we get this wire in. The wire's a little thick. You could try to bend it with your fingers. It's a little hard. Pliers will work a little bit better. And you're just going to twist that green wire into the body all the way down to the bottom. Let that stick up. Grab your pliers, and you're going to make a little hook. That little hook is going to make sure that the wire doesn't pull through. It catches into the wool, and then you have a nice secure wire. And attach your little your keychain string into the little hook, and you're all done. Your little guy is all finished, ready to be clipped onto your bag or anything. Thank you so much. Enjoy.